What a close call we had last game. But we go against Brighton. And Brighton are coming off a 2-game win streak. And guess what? They got somebody who I fear. His name is Danny Goldbeck because he's scoring goals. And right now, I think he's Brighton's best player. And we're going to dive in to what my score prediction is going to be, my team lineup, and also what this victory will mean. Now, I know it's going to be a common theme. You're going to hear a lot of what this victory will mean throughout my videos. But I believe that every single game is a step closer to the title. Every single victory is leading to the silverware. This month will be quite packed for us, March. Why? Because we have the Premier League, we've got the Carabao Cup final, we've got the FA Cup games, and of course, we return to action in the Champions League against Bayer Leverkusen. And it's good, it's great, because A, it's going to test how bad we want to win silverware this season. B, we always want to see Arsenal action. And C, I think the most important thing is trying to collect as many trophies as you can. But let's dive into the video. If you watched so far, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Helps out the channel a lot. Hit the notification bell. I'm always uploading, and guess what? I'm always doing watch-alongs as well. And I'll be doing watch-along for the Brighton game. And also, if you want to see my Chelsea match reaction, make sure you stay to the end of the video. There'll be a link. Make sure you hit that. And you can see Brighton, they're a good team. I'll say it out there. They're probably not having the best season, but I still feel like they're a very good team. They're a very big threat. And I think Brighton away is quite tough. We beat them at home, obviously, this season. It was quite a great result. It wasn't something that was quite narrow. I think we beat them with flying colours. But will it be the same outcome when we travel to Brighton away? Who knows? I think Arsenal, winning 2 games in a row now after having 2 consecutive draws against Brentford and Wolves is obviously a great momentum shift. We're seeing players, coming together, especially the backline. The backline, the whole backline contributed to goals, whether it's an own goal, an assist, or, scoring a header, or, the backline for Arsenal against Chelsea played fantastic. This victory is very, very important because we don't know what can happen with Man City. They can slip up. They still have Chelsea. We still have, Newcastle. I know they've been on a losing streak, but we definitely need to make sure that we win that game as well. And we can't overlook them. And this is what I'm saying with Brighton as well. We cannot overlook them. Brighton, they've got a good squad. They've got Kadioglu left back. They've got Danny Welbeck, of course. And they've got this bright talent as well. Diogo Gomez, who scored a worldie the other day. Scored a fantastic goal. He's quite dangerous. But how will he hold up against Arsenal's defence? How will Arsenal hold up against Brighton away? We have lost at Brighton before, 2 seasons ago. And I think, actually, one of the seasons, when we started playing really well with Arteta, we lost at the final part of the season at Brighton, or we drew one of them. But I remember playing Brighton away actually contributed to the fact that we never walked away the Premier League that year. I do remember. So, Brighton, we cannot overlook them. One of the key players I want to talk about today is Eze. Now, I think we can all agree that Eberechi Eze, as much as we love him, as much as his profile is reputable, especially at Crystal Palace, he's not looking like the guy right now. Yes, he scored against Tottenham, but after that, what comes after that? That's the question. 6 goals he scored for Arsenal so far. Of course, 5 of them against Tottenham. It's not a very good stat in terms of goals outlet to a specific team. Because you'd want your number 10 to be spraying assists, spraying goals. And I'll be honest, when I watched him in that Chelsea game, his touches were really, really poor. And the thing is with me, I want Eze to prove me wrong. I want Eze to go out there and I want him to, get goals and get assists. I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to prove... I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are criticising his gameplay. And I don't want us to sound like spoiled fans. I feel like we're very, very spoiled fans. We get a player that we've wanted or that's doing fantastic at a different club. Once we get him, we're like, oh no, he's crap, we need somebody else. No, I'm not trying to be spoiled. I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say is that you pay a certain amount for a player, and what you've seen at Crystal Palace is what you want to see in Arsenal. And I can't blame the team. I can't blame Mikel Arteta because Kai Havertz, in the short space of time that he's come back, I actually feel like he's had more of an impact than Eze. And Kai Havertz gets ridiculed every week since he's moved to Arsenal. Chelsea fans are saying, oh, bargain, oh, we robbed Arsenal, we robbed Arsenal, we robbed Arsenal. But Kai Havertz actually plays fantastic. I think we underestimated how Havertz plays. We took Havertz for granted. And I feel like we've come to that conclusion because of what we've seen from Eze. And probably Odegaard as well. Odegaard's not getting away either. But Eberechi Eze, I really want him to, get the ball rolling. Not just against Tottenham. Not just against these small teams. Like Brighton, I'm not going to call them a small team. Because they can hold it up. They can hold it up against Newcastle. They can hold it up against us. They've beaten us before. They've beaten big teams. And when people say Brighton, it's not like you say, oh yeah, you'll beat Brighton, you'll beat Brighton. No. People don't say that. Brighton's always like a 50-50. It could be a maybe. But obviously if you're playing at home, obviously you've got more of an advantage, which we're not. We're playing away. So all these factors come into place. Saka, I'll be honest, if I was saying on my watch along, I was saying, if there was one player that I would say is the most informed winger right now for Arsenal, informed winger, I would say it's going to be Madueke. He's probably my most informed winger right now. I wouldn't say it's Bukayo Saka. I wouldn't say it's Martinelli. I'll say the most informed winger right now is Madueke if we're going off the last few games. Because he's getting assists. He's actually scoring. Saka, as much as I, like him in the team, but sometimes I think play the players that are playing well. Saka against Chelsea, he was mid. In my opinion, he was mid. I think the second worst player on that whole pitch for Arsenal was Trossard. He was another one. He had a mare as well against Chelsea. He needed to come off definitely. And we had a bit more of a spark with Martinelli. Martinelli managed to draw the yellow, which led to the red card. So, Saka, Trossard, if I didn't see him this game, I wouldn't be disappointed. I felt like Havertz, I feel like he needs a call up now. It was nice to see him play. And I feel like he needs to play behind Gyökeres. I've been telling you, and I'm sure a lot of you already know this. When Gyökeres comes off, look how far Arsenal drop back, and just look at how much pressure opposing teams put on us. Once Gyökeres comes off, it's a different story for Arsenal, and I don't know why. I think because Gyökeres, of course, he's an attacking threat. Many people might not agree, that's fine, but I feel like obviously he's restricted because of the way teams set up against Arsenal, that very low block, and when you're playing low block, obviously you've got more of that 2 backs of 4 almost, and then you got a striker trying to get past almost 8 players. It's very tricky, very difficult. But with Gyökeres, when he comes off, it's like the pressure just piles on. But the last 2 games are showing that Arsenal have been making substitutions at the right time. Okay, if you're going to take Gyökeres off and now you're going to have more pressure, some of your midfielders might be tired. Some of your midfielders might be, got a slight hamstring injury, like Declan Rice. He didn't look like he's too good. Hopefully it's not long term. Hopefully it was just a little knock. But put Norgard on. Maybe that was the reason why we won. I think so. I think the way when he made the substitution at the right time, I think that played a huge part in our victory against Chelsea. And I want to see the same against Brighton, obviously Wednesday. Brighton, they need this victory. They've been a bit up and down, but now they're picking up their momentum. And I don't think it'll be an easy game, I'll be honest. Brighton, they're a very good side. I respect Brighton. I think when it comes down to the scout, whoever he is, I would love him at Arsenal. Do you know why? Because they can let all their big players go, but they recruit phenomenal. They've resurrected Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck, for those of you that are really young watching this, he had a good start to Man United, his career, but he became a laughing stock. Came to Arsenal, I'll say below average. Got a goal, actually, he helped us beat Man United, actually. I remember that in the FA Cup. He was below average, kind of forgotten about, bit of a journeyman. But then look, went to Brighton. Look at him. He's definitely he's definitely in line for an England call up. I believe so. I feel like Danny Welbeck should definitely get it. If he carries on the way he is, and he's been consecutive last season as well, he was firing. Danny Welbeck definitely deserves a call up to the England squad. 100%. Because he's consistent. I think that's what every manager, every fan, every football club, what they need is consistency. Because consistency is what pushes you over the line. Consistency is that fine line between winning and losing. So, Danny Welbeck, mate, the way you're playing, you 100% deserve an England call-up. But yeah, how will the team line up against Brighton? I'm going to go with the same back four, because I think the back four played a pinnacle part. Timber scored, Saliba, I think there's an own goal in my opinion. You know, was one of the reasons why we scored. And Gabriel as well, he got the assist for that goal. Hincapié was unlucky, but I feel like defensively, Hincapié was absolutely phenomenal as well. So I'm going with David Raya, goalkeeper. Back four, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Hincapié. Midfielders. If Declan Rice praying that he's not missing the game, but if he is, then Declan Rice and Zubimendi. Zubimendi's been playing well. He almost had a slip up against Chelsea again, thankfully. It ended up in the back of the net. But Zubimendi, yep. Number 10, I'm going to go for, I want Kai Havertz to start. I want Gyökeres in front of Kai Havertz. That recipe is working. That recipe is tasting phenomenal. Yeah, that is goals galore, those two when they play together. Right wing, I want to go with Madueke, and left wing Martinelli. I want Arsenal to really go for it. I really want to penetrate that defence. I want us to get the goal early. I think as well, we got the goal early against Chelsea. Okay, we conceded before half time, but getting that goal early, it's a statement. We're here to play. We're here to win. So you got to get it back off us. That's the key thing about going into that game against Brighton is scoring first. You have to score first. Because if you don't, you leave it last minute, boom, you're just chasing for scraps, which you don't want to do. Scoreline. This is an interesting one. I think Goldbeck will score, I'll be honest. I'm sorry to say it. I'm not saying Arsenal defence is trash. They can't do Danny Welbeck. But I think Danny Goldbeck will score. So I'm going to go with 3-1. I'm going to say Martinelli. I'm going to say Gabriel. Centre-back Gabriel will score. And I'm going to say Victor Gyökeres. So I'm going to have 3 different scorers for the game. And I think 3-1 will be a fair result if Arsenal turn up. If Arsenal were to lose, I'm going to say 1-0 Brighton. But I don't want to think about that. I want to think about Arsenal winning. I want to think about that title. We need to now. It's been too long, man. And we're almost there. You're going to hear me sound this. You're going to hear me keep saying this. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. And it's right. We are almost there. But yeah, that's my score prediction. That's what I think is going to happen. Let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's try and get this video to 20 likes. I want to go for a cheeky 20 likes. And yeah, I'll be also doing a watch along for this. So stay tuned. And I'll see you lot Wednesday.